Hi, thanks for joining me today. How do you cope with children of different ages inside one step family? Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. There is something about life that step family life really highlights, and that is that there are various stages to life. You're only young once, you're a baby, and then you're a young child, and then you become an older child, and then a teenager. And with every one of these stages, there are identifying markers where, teenagers are all over the place and young kids are great to play games with and are much more malleable. You go through these stages in life, whether you like it or not. And these stages are different for everybody, and it doesn't mean that all teenagers are reckless, but you go through a stage where you're establishing yourself or whatever, and it is a stage. It is a time of your life you won't do again. A lot is talked about the childhood stages, the kind of 0 to 12 weeks, and then sort of up to 3 years, and then the 3 to 6 years, and 7 years, and then there's the sort of pre-teens, and then the teenage. There's lots of talked about, the developmental aspects of those different stages of development we all go through one way or another. What's talked less about is the different stages of adulthood, but they are there nevertheless. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you establish possibly family life. And that's what families do. Not everybody becomes a family, and that's perfectly okay. You establish family life, and then can come along step family life. And with step family life can come children. And children grow up through different stages, and as they do so, their parents are parenting them in different ways. You do not parent a baby like you parent a teenager. And as the children grow, so the adults adapt. And it's like a progression for everyone, and life evolves, and then the children grow up. But if you become a step family and you become a step parent to children from your partner's previous family life, then you are joining a stage. If you have children that you're also bringing to step family life, you are also bringing your children which are at a stage. Even if those two sets of children are the same age, they may not quite be at the same stages. But that apart, quite often you can bring younger children to be stepchildren alongside older children. Or you might have children of your own in the new relationship. So you're introducing a baby into a family with older children. And there is a vast difference in how you're parenting children of different stages. So the kinds of things that you do with children that love to play games is to play games with them. In their teenage years, you probably have to have more difficult conversations about various things. But it's kind of difficult to have difficult conversations about various things with teenagers at the same time as you're parenting either a baby or young children, because you don't really want the young children thinking about or involved in those teenage conversations until they're ready for it. Now, obviously, in a traditional family, there can be vast age groups between the eldest child and the youngest child, but in step families, this is particularly so. And what it feels like is you're navigating some kind of yacht or boat, and there's kind of like holes in the boat with water pouring in, because you've got all these different demands and expectations of your family unit at the same time. And you feel as though you sort of are trying to do several things at once, and you're not in control of any of them. And you're really concerned because the whole thing could go down, because the damage one set of children could do, or the sort of effect that another set of children can do, can really make to use that same analogy, the boat feel not like a boat at all, and as though you're sinking. You're having to do too many things all at once. Be a parent to a teenager, be a parent to a baby, all at the same time. And we ourselves are going through a process as we grow with our children, and all of that gets disrupted. So what can you do about these different life cycle stages that step parents have to cope with very normally? And back to the analogy about the boat, it's about making do where you can, understanding that you're coping with quite a lot and that people have different needs, and meeting the needs as well as you can at different stages in any given circumstance. But this can feel as though you're not succeeding at anything, and it can feel as though you're really resenting having this step family, when really what you do want to do is concentrate on your own family. And as a step parent, it's often about relinquishing a dearly treasured thought that you were going to be one thing, and actually all you're doing is stopping the holes in the hull of a boat. You're just taking a step back, taking it easy, going with the flow, doing what you can, relinquishing some of your dream for what your family was going to be like, and accepting what is. And all of those things are really difficult to do. And often it's about you deciding you're going to be easygoing and not get uptight about things, let quite difficult things go, and muddle along. And for that, you almost need to be a personality type. You need to be that sort of person. And if you're not, it's even more challenging. But that is what being in a step family can feel like. We run workshops, sessions, an email response service, and we write booklets. Look in the description box below for links to our social media and website.